Welcome to the Jerry Graves channel. This is a channel that talks about narcissism, even the cringiest of details that nobody talks about, everything that encompasses the subject. Without further ado, we're gonna jump straight into the topic. All right. I was reading a book a while ago. I'll find the name and put a link in the description. But it was about a spy, and this is like a real live spy. He worked for the CIA. And so he was just like breaking down so much stuff as far as how to like strategize against people, and I kind of wanted to do a video about it. But one of the key strategies in the book was you begin with the end in mind. The whole book was really about like end games, and if you play chess, like, you're familiar with that term. Whenever you're trying to strategize against someone, it's best to look to the end first. What's their end game? And then you strategize backwards. So, for example, you have Osama bin Laden. This is an example from the book. Like, okay, so he blew up the World Trade Center, and a big question was afterwards, like, what was going to be his next move? Most people automatically assumed that he was going to bomb another building, or he was going to bomb, a stadium or something like that. But the truth is, he had no intentions of bombing anyone, unless it was going to be like a nuclear bomb or something huge, because he had plans of being the caliph, right? Which is like basically like, I don't really know too much about it, but it's almost like a transient being, like a god on earth, I haven't really looked too much into it, but that's what he was going to be trying to do. So he didn't want to just do the same thing over again, because at that point it's like anybody could do that. Anybody can bomb something. He wanted to be spectacular, and there was a lot of people around him who was trying to take his place, because he was the leader of Al-Qaeda, right? But of course, there's always a game to play. There's always going to be somebody who's trying to take your spot. So he needed to solidify himself. So he was trying to plan something, spectacular. And that's the reason why most people who studied him knew that he wasn't going to do another bombing in the same type of fashion. So if he just starts bombing all these places that are low security, then it's just like he's any other terrorist. Like, he wants to be caliph. So things like that, you start with the end. You start with, okay, so he wants to be caliph. So what does he have to do in order to be caliph? What has to happen before that happens? What's the step before the grand finale where he's gotten what he wants? That's how you figure people out. So you have your end game, and each step before you reach your end game is a game in and of itself. Everybody plays hundreds of games every single day. You play games when you go buy something from a store, or you play games when you're driving home through traffic. There is no way to be able to process all the games that you are going to be faced with. So in order to process these games faster, you have to simplify them. So to simplify the games that you're playing, there's three types. You have the zero-sum game, you have the positive sum game, and you have the negative sum game. All right, so the zero-sum game is the most common type of game, which is one person wins, the other person loses. So one person has a positive outcome and the other person has a negative outcome. So if you add the two together, it equals 0. Now the positive sum game is when you have two people who gain something from the game that is being played. It's a win-win situation. This is the type of games that you want to play, but they're not as common as the zero sum game. The final game is the negative sum game, which is basically a war of attrition. Each side competes to win, but they're both losing as they fight on, and the winner is just a person who's basically willing to lose more, or just isn't losing as much as the other side. The first step is to identify the game. Here's an example. Like, if you were to be getting fired, or somebody's trying to get you fired at your job, they're trying to gain more control of the work center, and you're going to have to lose your access to the work center in order for them to do it. So that's a negative sum. I mean, a zero sum game, right? So if you're in a zero sum game, then you think down back to the end of the game, like what has to happen for them to achieve that. You're on your way out of the door for the last time you've been fired, right? So what could happen? Maybe you lost your cool. Maybe you were proved to be incompetent at something. And then you can work from there. Okay, so if I lost my cool, we'll focus on that one. If I lost my cool, what has to happen for me to lose my cool? What does the narcissist know about me as far as losing my cool? Have I ever been angry in the workplace? Have I ever talked to him about something that makes me angry, or talk to someone that he knows about something that makes me angry? Let's say you did. So from there, you already know what that person is going to do, because now you know that they're going to use that technique that you talk to them or talk to their friend about, and that's like, you can put a clock to it, and they're going to come around and they're going to use it. I don't really have the best examples as far as employing the strategy, because I'm probably going to do that in another video. I'm going to start trying to break down strategies and use more examples to break them down. But for right now, I want you to understand just the gist of how it works, so that you can use it. You can use it right away, right now. But that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and peace. I'm really tired. I gotta go get some sleep.